Sony's latest State of Play event had some notable announcements. Let's take a look at the biggest announcements that happened during the event. Concord gameplay and release date. Sony kicked off its State of Play with a look at Firewalk Studios' upcoming multiplayer shooter Concord. A new vignette introduced several characters who collide on Crater City and get caught in a shootout. Set in the Concord galaxy, players control free gunners in the North Star Gang in 5v5 matches. The characters include Vale, a sniper with trip mines, Hamar, who can blind targets and launch fiery projectiles with a crossbow, and Starchild, a berserker who can soak up damage. There are also a handful of free agents to select. Firewalk took inspiration from strategy titles and fighting games, with asymmetrical characters for improvised gameplay. Other interesting bits include deployables that can create walls and add revives, assisting their teammates beyond scoring kills. Alongside multiplayer matches, there will also be a new cinematic vignette each week to highlight characters and grow the universe. Concord launches on August 23rd for PS5 and PC, with a pre-launch beta set for July. Pre-orders start June 6th, offering cosmetics and beta access for up to 4 friends. Astrobot. Recent reports had repeatedly insisted that Sony was preparing to announce a new Astrobot game that would release later this year itself, and that, it turns out, was accurate. Sony and developer Team Asobi have announced Astrobot, the fan-favorite IP's first full-fledged console platformer. The game will feature over 50 exciting and diverse worlds and plenty of varied gameplay opportunities to match, by the looks of it. The announcement trailer showcased plenty of gameplay across several different worlds, showing glimpses of the platforming action, several bosses, flying sections, and in true Astrobot fashion, a number of references for beloved PlayStation properties. Astrobot launches for PS5 on September 6th, pre-orders for the game will go live on June 7th. Monster Hunter Wilds gameplay trailer. We finally saw the debut of a more extensive gameplay look at Monster Hunter Wilds, its next title in the long-running action RPG series. It sees the main cast venturing to a new desert biome that's massive in size, teeming with new indigenous wildlife. That also means new monsters. Some new monsters include a giant bear-like thing that travels in packs. Players can lure away the leader, collapsing rocks to stop the others from following. There's also a toad-like monster that attacks with its tongue and charges ahead. As with Monster Hunter World, smaller monsters can attack the larger foes, providing a much-needed distraction. While there weren't any new weapon types, the Great Sword has an impressive new ability where it parries attacks and follows up with a charging slash. Monster Hunter Wilds launches in 2025 for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Silent Hill 2 Remake release date and gameplay. After finally announcing a release date for Silent Hill 2's long-awaited Bloober Team-developed remake, Konami followed it up with an extensive gameplay showing for the long-awaited survival horror game at the Silent Hill transmission stream. The gameplay showing begins with protagonist James walking through the foggy streets and creepy alleyways of the town of Silent Hill, and after following a blood trail, finds himself in a dark garage, which in turn leads to a horrifying encounter with a lying figure, whom James deploys in bloody fashion with a makeshift melee weapon. After the encounter, James finds a healing item in the back of a car that he breaks into, following which he resumes his search of Mary through the town. There's glimpses of more of the game's core loop showcased, including James finding key objects, running into other vital characters, and more. From there, the gameplay shifts to Brookhaven Hospital, where James and Maria try and search for Laura, only to explore some creepy, dimly lit environments before running into a bone-chilling enemy that fans of the original game will find very familiar: the dreaded nurse. We see some light stealth with James first sneaking past a nurse before engaging in a mixture of gunplay and melee combat, with the latter also entailing a dodge mechanic. If you were disappointed by the combat shown in the game's previous trailer earlier in the year, you may still not be entirely satisfied by what's shown here. More item collecting ensues, including finding a shotgun, which is promptly used against another nurse, following which more tense exploration resumes, showcasing plenty of the hospital's many creepy rooms and environments. The selection culminates in James finding Laura, with the conversation between the two showing off the game's impressive performances, facial animations, and technical fidelity. That conversation, of course, ends poorly for James, who is trapped in the hospital by Laura, who flees from the scene, leaving him trapped with a terrifying enemy. You can probably guess what that enemy is. Silent Hill 2 launches for PS5 and PC on October 8th. Dynasty Warriors Origins. Omega Force's Dynasty Warrior series returns with its next title launching in 2025. Dynasty Warrior Origins will be coming to PS5, though it's likely bound for other platforms. The trailer features some gameplay snippets. Compared to Dynasty Warriors 9 and its open-world approach, Dynasty Warriors Origins seemingly follows the series' traditional structure. Players control a singular hero and engage in battles against hundreds of foes, blasting them away with a handful of moves. In this case, the story focuses on a nameless hero who leads the fight against oppression and helps the common folk rise. They can also lead their troops in combat, ride on horseback, and more, with the visuals showcasing a significant upgrade over the previous title. God of War Ragnarok PC. Recent leaks claimed that after Ghost of Tsushima, Ragnarok would be the next big single-player first-party PlayStation game to make its way over to PC, and as expected, that announcement was made officially at Sony's recent State of Play presentation. Ragnarok is coming to PC this September. The action-adventure title's PC port is developed by Jetpack Interactive, just like its predecessor's PC version, and will feature support for uncapped frame rates, super ultra-wide resolution, DLSS 3.7, FSR 3.1, and XeSS 1.3. Until Dawn new trailer. Ballistic Moon's Until Dawn, based on Supermassive Games' successful narrative horror, launches this fall for PS5 and PC. A new trailer was released during today's State of Play, offering a better look at the in-game visuals and their improvements. Developed on Unreal Engine 5, the trailer showcases impressive lighting, textures, environment, shadows, and a much better frame rate. The character animations are also improved, with more contextual movement added. Some new features include a third-person camera, new interactions, fresh collectibles to pursue, and even some new interactions. Where Winds Meet new gameplay. Announced in 2022, Everstone Studios and NetEase's open-world wuxia-inspired action RPG Where Winds Meet has been on a fair few radars, and after its recent showing at Sony's State of Play presentation, it's likely that it will have even more eyes on it. The action RPG showcased a new gameplay trailer at the recent presentation, showing off its slick and aggressive martial arts combat, its visually captivating ancient China setting, and more. Outside of combat, martial arts skills can also bestow players with other magical abilities, from breathing fire to being able to leap like a giant frog. While the game is also promising varied traversal options, a vast world to explore, unique weapon types to choose from, and more. Alien Rogue Incursion first gameplay trailer. It may not fill the space left by Alien Isolation, but Alien Rogue Incursion promises its own scary time when it launches in holiday 2024. Coming to PlayStation VR 2, MetaQuest 3, and Steam VR, the first gameplay trailer debuted during Sony's State of Play. Though it's a work in progress and not representative of the final product, all of the tenets of an alien experience, sci-fi industrial environments, facehuggers slowly emerging from eggs, a xenomorph crawling on the walls, and so on, are all here. Also, the player has a gun, for all the good that will do. Despite the similarities to older Alien titles, the story is completely original and boasts terrifying, resourceful xenomorphs. Interestingly, Alien Rogue Incursion was announced to be in development for consoles, PC, and VR. Behemoth gameplay trailer. On top of titles like Concord and Astrobot, Sony's latest State of Play highlighted titles coming to PlayStation VR 2 this year. That includes Skydance Games' Behemoth, launching in fall of 2024 alongside Steam VR and MetaQuest 3. After the Forsaken Lands face plagues, leading to the ruin of their cities, those left sane are left to fight for their survival. Behemoth focuses on hand-to-hand combat with an emphasis on physics. Players can wield swords and axes, use a grappling hook to pull down bridges, discover equipment, and more. The grappling hook is also ideal in combat for pulling enemies and sending them off bridges or retrieving weapons. You can also execute brutal finishers and shove opponents into hazardous obstacles. Other survivors oppose you at every turn, but they're far from the biggest threats, as massive bosses inhabit the world and must be defeated. Infinity Nikki. Infold Games' Infinity Nikki, a dress-up adventure announced in 2022, is coming to PS5. A new gameplay trailer was revealed during State of Play, highlighting its impressive visuals, and a beta test is coming in Q3 of 2024. As the 5th game in the series, Infinity Nikki takes an open-world approach, with the protagonist exploring Mirrorland and donning different outfits to help its various denizens. However, the story this time sees Nikki and Momo exploring an alternate timeline version of the world. Players will explore different nations, collect outfits, solve puzzles, and more. It's worth noting that previous Nikki titles feature a gacha element, with 2019's Shining Nikki receiving criticism for the same. Developer Paper Games hasn't detailed the same, but playtests announced last month indicate it may also launch for PC and mobile devices. Ballad of Antara. Ballad of Antara, coming from Tipsworks Studios of Infold Games, is billed as a free-to-play action RPG. Ballad of Antara's core hook is what seems to be a dual-world mechanic. Each location that players visit will essentially have two versions, a serene, regular version of the world, and a more bizarre, twisted version known as Para. Players will be able to play as a number of different characters, each with their own unique attributes and abilities, and go up against a number of enemies. In addition to being able to play through the entire story solo, you'll also have a 3-player co-op option. Ballad of Antara will launch for PS5 at some point in 2025. A beta of the game is also planned, though a date for it is currently undecided, while Tipsworks Studios says more details on the title will also be shared later in the year. Marvel Rivals announced for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Amidst the litany of upcoming single-player narrative-driven games based on Marvel properties, NetEase Games is attempting to stand out from the pack with its multiplayer hero shooter Marvel Rivals, and after impressive early showings, the company has confirmed that the game is going to be available on more platforms than just PC, which was the only one officially announced until now. NetEase has announced that upon launch, Marvel Rivals will also be available on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Meanwhile, the company has revealed that it will also be holding a closed beta test for the game at some point in July. On top of that, NetEase has also revealed 2 new playable characters for the game in the form of fan-favorite antiheroes Venom and Adam Warlock. Meanwhile, players on PS5 will also get an exclusive Scarlet Spider costume for Spider-Man. Path of Exile 2 coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Grinding Gear Games' free-to-play action RPG Path of Exile 2 is coming to PS5 and Xbox. A new trailer is available highlighting the different classes and combat while showcasing the phenomenally dire straits that Rayclast is in. The console version supports couch co-op, cross-platform play, and cross-progression. The PlayStation blog also confirmed that 2 players can play on the same account or log on to the same console with 2 different accounts. As a standalone sequel to the current game, it offers 12 classes with 36 ascendancies, akin to subclasses, while it features the skill gem system of the original with 240 available and 200 support gems to modify them. You no longer have to have 6 link with the different currencies. The passive skill tree also offers 1,000 skills, but now players can specialize in 2 skill sets, switching between them during combat. Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell, and let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.